The following chapters can stand alone as each one possesses its own unique lesson. You can listen to this book from front to back, or from back to front, or you can skip around. It can be consumed in one sitting or 50. You can even listen to it while standing on your head. If you like, it's up to you. No matter how you approach this book, though, I can promise you one thing. You will walk away from it knowing how to conquer your fears. It won't happen overnight, and it will require a good deal of discipline, fortitude, and faith. But you will never regret having taken the journey. I wasted far too many years in the grip of fear, and I can tell you that no matter what it takes to overcome your fears, no matter how hard you have to work or how much you have to sacrifice, it's worth it. For here, on the other side of fear, lies freedom. Here lies the ability to love, savor, and create with abandon. And here lies the vibrant, adventurous, full life that God has created just for you. Welcome, sweet friends. Chapter 1. Champagne Flutes. Fear is the enemy of love. St. Augustine. For our wedding, Dan and I received a pair of champagne flutes. They were delicate and perfectly shaped, and I loved them. I loved them so much, in fact, that one night, having moved into a new home earlier that day, I pounded on the door of our old house and asked the bewildered new owners if I might peer into their kitchen cabinets to see if I'd left them behind in the move. It was November, or maybe December, but definitely post-daylight saving time, and as the evening was cold, dark, and rainy, I must have looked a sight with my long coat pulled tightly over my ratty moving clothes and my wet hair stuck to the side of my face. I didn't have their phone number, though, and was desperately afraid that they'd throw them out or give them away before I had a chance to retrieve them. So there I stood, pounding away with a slightly manic look in my eye. They let me in, and there, tucked into the back of a worn wooden cupboard, sat my two perfect matching flutes. I quickly tucked them under my arm and hurried out of the home that was no longer mine, with grateful thanks and mildly mortified apologies on my lips. The 24-year-old newlywed would never have believed you, had you told her that 5 years later, she would be furiously smashing those same glasses into a million shining shards against her kitchen sink. Feats of bravery. You do things in a marriage that you never expect you'll do. You become a person that you never thought you'd become. Most of the time, this is a good thing. Marriage has a way of making you more generous and selfless, and generally less wrapped up in yourself. But that doesn't happen by accident. That happens because marriage refines you by fire. And fire is hot, and fire burns. And if you have any kind of sense of self-preservation, you spend a lot of time wondering how you can escape this painful refining process. Not escape the marriage, but maybe find a way to make it hurt a little less. Or ask not quite so much of you, or be satisfied with less than your all and everything. The smashing of the wine glasses was my way of telling God to back off and give Dan and me a break. From Dan's perspective, it probably looked more like his wife had become a raging lunatic, hell-bent on spewing the worst kind of vitriol in his direction. But at the heart of it, my grievance wasn't with him. It was, though I didn't realize it at the time, with God. The God who had allowed relentless, brutal financial struggles to mark our first years together. The God who held back the relief I thought we'd been promised. The God who had stood silently by and watched as the brave, fearless girl I'd been raised to be became a controlling, terrified shadow of herself. When my mother was young, my grandfather started a family tradition called Feats of Bravery. That thing you are scared to do, you will do it, and you will do it with pluck because it's a feat of bravery. You will cross the log that bisects the river, climb to the very top of the waterfall, and jump into the icy cold mountain stream, because you are brave all the way deep down into your bones, and no log, waterfall, or mountain stream could possibly take that away from you. In fact, the opposite was considered true. These challenges actually served to